Hello and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday, a monthly series where experts share practical tips and techniques on topics that are important to pancreatic cancer patients, survivors, and their caretakers alike. I'm Erin Kuhn-Krieger with Rolf Pancreatic Cancer Foundation, and I'm so excited to be back here tonight for my conversation with Dr. Nadine Pierre Kelly, or NPK as she's known. She'll be giving us a look into wellness and healing that I don't think many of us have been able to experience before. But before we get there, we have so many different things going on that I want to share. November is World Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and we have so many fun and informative activities planned. So I want to make sure that you're keeping an eye out on our social channels to make sure that you can participate with us. In the meantime, mark November 7th as a no cooking day. We've teamed up with Lou Malnati's, and when you order from their River North, their Lincoln Square and Highland Park locations, Ralph will receive 20% of the proceeds. So that's for dine-in, that's for carry-out, it's delivery. As long as you mention Ralph and the fundraiser, we will get the proceeds. And if you're ordering online or through their app, you can see in the chat the code that you'll just need to use. Then on Friday, November 11th, we're all going to be coming together for the long-awaited celebration of Friday Night Lights of Hope. It's been a few years in planning, and it's a great return of Ralph's annual event where we'll honor our loved ones, celebrate those who spread lights of hope, with members of Chicago's famed Gold Coast All-Stars performing on the dance floor, signature cocktails, delicious food, auction, games, and so much more. The early bird discount is still available through Halloween, so don't get tricked. Yeah, I went there. Make sure you grab your tickets by using the link in the chat. And again, make sure you're following Ralph Foundation on all the social channels. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn for the most up-to-date information on the World Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month activities. I'm also so excited and proud to announce that Ralph has been selected as the beneficiary of the Highland Park High School Charity Drive. It's a student-driven event where students, teachers, and staff vote on a local organization making an impact in the community. Last year, this charity drive raised more than $96,000 for the selected charity. So you can imagine how excited we are for the impact that this could have on pancreatic cancer research, patients, families, and all the support that Ralph gives. So funds will be raised throughout the month of January. So watch for details when we get there. And while it's a local award, anybody can participate. So we're really excited about that. Now, on to a few housekeeping items. You could ask questions throughout the session tonight in the comment section below, or you could also email them to us at info@rolffoundation.org. We'll save all questions to the end to make sure that we get to everybody. Dr. Nadine Pierre Kelly, otherwise known as NPK, is a retired pathologist, an experienced registered yoga teacher, an American Council of Exercise health coach, an Akimbo workshops head coach, a contributor to Medscape, a first-degree Taekwondo black belt, and health integration coach with NPK Health Integration. Welcome, NPK. We're so excited to have you tonight.
Erin, thank you for a generous introduction. I'm Nadine Pierre Kelly, otherwise known as NPK, otherwise known as Dr. Nadine, or just Nadine. I am so happy to be here with you all. I'm a very practical person. I am a retired pathologist over a decade ago. And one of the things that has really stayed with me is my desire to serve, to help people, but to make it very accessible, to make it very practical. So I would like for you to think of tonight's yoga practice as like a buffet. Take what makes sense to you, leave what does not, and also context. So there are going to be some times where you can use some of the tools that you learn in certain settings. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. I'll give you a very quick experience. So I am high-risk breast cancer. I'm not a survivor, but my family, I have 2 close relatives who are, and I have to take MRIs on a regular basis. And I hate being in the MRI. I'm claustrophobic. So what do I use when I go there? Yoga. So yoga does not look like bending like a pretzel in a studio or sitting high on a mountaintop and having to meditate for hours at a time. It's not about perfection. It's about a lifestyle. So when I'm in those MRIs, there are some times where I use breathing techniques, sometimes where I do a body scan so I can relax my body. So it just really depends. So that's what I'm bringing to you this evening. I'm bringing you a guided relaxation. I'm going to lead you through a practical meditation that you can use anywhere, anytime. And then we're going to end with some great breath work that, again, you can use anywhere, anytime. Nobody has to know you're doing it. One more thing before we get started. I used to teach at the Cancer Center, and the thing about yoga is there are not necessarily scientific studies that support every single thing about yoga. There is a lot of science that proves that the mind-body connection is real, but don't discount people's experiences. I had countless practitioners at the Cancer Center tell me that they use breathing techniques or relaxation techniques for anxious doctor visits, arming themselves before they were going to get news. So again, think of these techniques I'll be teaching you as tools in your toolbox. So without further ado, we're going to practice in the chair this evening. So I'd like for you to sit up nice and tall. Gaze down at your feet and make sure your toes are pointing forward. Then stack your knees over your ankles. You want your kneecaps and your toes to be pointing in the same direction. We're going to wiggle around a little bit in our seats so that we can find our ischial tuberosities, otherwise known as sits bones. We want to move the flesh of our thighs out to the sides and glutes out to the sides and back. Next, we want to honor the natural curves in our spine and also lengthen the spine, stacking the shoulders over the hips, and then making sure that your head is not leaning forward, but in the center of your pelvis. You can also think about your head being over the center by drawing a line down the center of your ear and over the center of your shoulder. The other thing to keep in mind is back of head lines up with back of pelvis. We want to create length on all sides of our neck, front, sides, and back. Imagine a cable that's attached to the center, top of your scalp, to the ceiling. So it's gently drawing you up. It's very easy to want to hike up the shoulders. So on purpose, we're going to roll our shoulders up towards our ears and then bring the shoulder blades slightly together and glide them down. Place your hands palms down on your lap. Now we're in seated mountain pose. So we can begin to observe. I invite you to be curious, not judgmental. It's a major part of a yoga practice. So what we're going to do is start at our feet. I invite you to close your eyes or keep your gaze soft and unfocused. Notice your feet and nothing else. Squeeze the muscles in your feet as you breathe in. Breathe out to release. Let's make sure we're breathing in and out through our nostrils. Notice your ankles and nothing else. Notice your legs between your knees and ankles. Breathe in, squeeze the muscles in your legs. Imagine the muscles in your legs are hugging the bones. Exhale to relax. Notice your knees. Notice your thighs. Squeeze the muscles in your thighs. Hold it. Exhale, soften and release. Notice the muscles surrounding your pelvis, on your seat. Squeeze the muscles of your seat. Exhale to release. Now notice your abdomen, otherwise known as your belly. Squeeze those muscles, drawing your navel in towards your spine. Hold it, hold it. Exhale, soften your belly. Notice your chest and rib cage. Inhale, tense those muscles. Exhale, release, soften. Next, notice the muscles in your back. Tense the muscles in your back. Hold it. Exhale to release. Now, notice your shoulders, arms, upper, elbow, forearm. Notice your wrists, your hands. Inhale, make fists, squeeze the muscles in your forearms, your upper arms, shrug your shoulders, hold it. Exhale to release. Notice the muscles in your neck, your face, your jaw, cheeks, lips, eyes, forehead, scalp. On your next inhale, squeeze the muscles in your neck and face. I would like for you to grip your teeth, purse your lips like you're tasting something sour, squeeze your eyes, wrinkle your forehead, hold it. Exhale to release. Notice the right side of your body. Squeeze all of the muscles on the right side of your body. Hold it. Exhale to release. Notice the muscles on the left side of your body. Squeeze and hold. Exhale to release. Notice front of body. Squeeze the muscles that are facing away from the chair. Exhale to release. Notice the muscles along the back of your body, on the chair, against the chair, on the floor. Squeeze and hold. Exhale to release. Notice your whole body. Inhale, tense everything from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. Squeeze and hold. Exhale, release. Notice your thoughts. Your energy. Notice the taste in your mouth. The sounds around you. Smells. The feeling of cool air coming into your nostrils and warm air out. Notice touch, the weight of your hands on your lap, your body on the chair, your feet on the floor, the clothes on your skin, the temperature in the room. Notice the darkness behind your eyelids if your eyes are closed, or whatever visual information you're taking in if your eyes are softly open. Now, on your next breath, don't overthink it. What do you need right now? Word or phrase. Fill in the blank at the end of this sentence. I am. Exhale to let it go. And now, as we begin to move to our meditation, we're going to do some breath work, a little bit of breath work before we get to the main event at the end. And we're going to do a little bit of movement in order to get the body relaxed and prepared to sit in meditation. Another fallacy about meditation is that not only that do you have to be in a certain quiet area with everything perfect and you have to do it for this long at this time. You can meditate anywhere, anytime. You don't have to have a certain spot. It doesn't have to be an hour long. It could be as short as a minute, 2 minutes. But we don't want our bodies to be distracting. So let's go ahead and first think about the breath. Sitting nice and tall in mountain pose, I would like for you to visualize a glass. The bottom of the glass is at the base of your abdomen, your belly. The top of the glass is at your collarbones. So we're taking in oxygen. Think of it as fresh water. We're breathing in through our nose, expanding from the belly up to the collarbones, filling that glass. Inhale from belly to lower rib cage, to upper rib cage, to collarbones, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, imagine pouring that water out from top to bottom. At the end, squeezing the navel in towards the spine very lightly. Go at your own pace for the next few moments. Make the breath continuous, deep, long, and soundless. If you're congested, it's okay to breathe out through your mouth, but preferably use your nostrils. Good. Now let's release some tension. Keeping that breath going, the cadence you are at. Make sure that as we're inhaling, we're lifting, and exhaling, we're releasing. So what's that mean? We're going to start with the head. We're going to take an inhale. Don't throw your head too far back. You're just going to lift. Use your eyes to look at the crease between the ceiling and the wall ahead of you. On the exhale, chin towards chest. We're still making the breath continuous. Now we're adding movement. Let the breath last a little bit longer than the movement. Lift your head back to neutral position. We're going to take an inhale. Exhale without moving your shoulders or chest. Turn your head towards the right. Let your eyes guide the movement. Your head follows. You're inhaling to move, and you're exhaling to feel release of tension in the side of your neck, shoulder area, maybe your jaw and tongue. Go ahead and release the biting surfaces of your teeth to prevent any clenching, and let your tongue rest in the well of your mouth. Soften your eyes, but let your gaze lead, come back to the center. Now we're going to draw one clockwise circle. Use your eyes, imagine a clock. Lift your eyes to 12 o'clock and slowly go around clockwise. Exhaling as you go down, inhaling as you come back up. And then we are going to go counterclockwise. And bring your head back to neutral. Shoulders, culprits that carry a lot of tension. What we're going to do is take an inhale, glide the shoulder blades up the back. Exhale, let's draw the shoulder blades together and glide them down. It's an inhale to lift, exhale to roll back and down. Inhaling up, exhaling back and down. One more time, inhaling up and exhaling back and down. Place your fingertips on your shoulders. Let's use our elbows to paint big circles going backwards. Release tension in your rib cage, your chest, your back, between your shoulder blades. So you want to exaggerate these circles so you can feel release in your muscles and lubricate your joints. We're going to take a release, drop your arms down by your sides and make light fists. You're going to circle your hands around. Imagine that your hands are submerged in water, so there's a little bit of resistance. You're stirring your fists around in that water and reverse the direction of that roll. And release. Good. And now, sitting nice and tall, we're going to focus on the pelvis. Think of your pelvis like a bucket. Think of your tailbone as kind of like the guide. What you're going to do is rock back and forth on your pelvis, swinging your bucket, flipping the tailbone up, then tucking it in. Inhaling to flip the tailbone up, exhaling to tuck it in. Let's do this a couple more times. And we're going to release and sit nice and tall. Lift your right foot off of the floor just a little bit. Point your toe. And now we're going to twirl the foot in circles. Think of lubricating your ankle. And reverse. And release. Now lift your left foot off of the floor gently, point the toe, twirl your foot. And reverse. And go ahead and plant your feet. Now, let's get the soles of our feet. What you're going to do is rock back and forth on the bottom of the foot from heel to toes. Breathe evenly. Good, and release. Now, wiggle your toes. Think about creating a little bit of space and length in those tiny joints. And wiggle your fingers. Relax your toes. Beautiful. Now, move forward in your seat just a little bit, enough so that you can lengthen your legs, open up the back of the knees. Your heels are going to stay down. Imagine they're Velcro to the floor. So you may need to move to the front half or front third of your seat, but make sure you're steady and balanced. Nice long legs from hip to heel. We're going to take a great big stretch. Inhale, lift your arms, press through your heels. And exhale, bring everything down slowly. Now close your eyes for just a moment and notice how you feel right now, physically energetically, and mentally. Remember, be curious, not judgmental. For the end of this relaxation, I would like for you to keep your eyes closed or very soft. We're going to go to our happy place. Take yourself to a time or a place or with people who make you feel relaxed, happy. Don't overthink it. It can be a room in your house. It could be a memory. It could be a vacation spot, but pick a happy place. For the next few moments, my voice will go away. While you are in your happy place, see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, and touch it. You have all the time in the world that you need in the next few moments until you hear my voice calling you back. Slowly begin to bring yourself back to the present moment. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Rock your head side to side. Open your eyes. Release all that movement. Take a breath in and breath out. Moving to a short meditation. Myriad ways to meditate. And remember, it doesn't have to be very long. I'll give you a simple one, which is a mantra meditation. So we set our intentions earlier. You can use the same phrase if you like, but what I'd like you to do is pick a feeling or phrase that you would like to bring in and something that is not serving you in this moment, something you would like to release. So maybe an example would be inhaling calm and exhaling worry. Whatever is going to work for you. Don't overthink it. Nice and tall, close your eyes, relax your hands in your lap. For the next moments, inhaling what you want, exhaling what you don't need. If your mind is wandering, that's absolutely normal. You're supposed to have thoughts. Gently keep bringing your mind back to your mantra. Think of it as a naughty puppy. The naughty puppy is running away, and you're just gently guiding it back. Release your mantra. Observe your thoughts, your energy, your body, right here, right now. Let go of judgment. Let these be practical tools so far that you can use. You can pick anything that we've done so far, isolate little parts of the practice to grab and use when you need them. You don't have to get away necessarily or get out of your body or leave your space or leave a situation to take care of yourself. Hence the title of this program, Self-Care is More Than Spa Days. You can absolutely infuse your days with these little self-care jump starts, anytime, any place. Nobody has to know what you're doing. And let's begin some breath work. This is one of many, many, many proven ways to focus on the breath. This particular one is called 365, and it's been lauded by therapists. Very easy to remember because it's in the number. It's the number of days per year, so you do it every day. And the numbers have significance. The 3 stands for 3 times a day. How long is up to you? Again, it could be as little as a minute. It can be longer if you need it. That's why you observe what's going on to decide this is enough or I need more. The 6 means 6 cycles of breathing per minute, but you don't have to remember that one exactly. Just know that the 5 stands for 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale, and that takes care of the 6 cycles of a whole breath per minute. 3 times a day, 365 days a year. And this has been used again by therapists, and it's a proven method for cardiac patients. It's been studied. So releasing blood pressure, releasing tension in the body, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, which is where we are supposed to live most of the time. It's not that we're supposed to never have stress. Stress is good for us to a certain extent, but it's chronic stress that we want to mitigate as much as possible with these different techniques, relaxation, with meditation, and now with breath work. So relax your back against the chair, still sitting tall though, and you're going to count your 5-second inhale and 5-second exhale to yourself for the next few moments. If this is not bringing the relaxation for you in the moment, another way to deepen that relaxation is tried and true, proven, is to lengthen the exhale to double the inhale. Now, that's not accessible for everyone. A 10-second exhale is not necessarily great for everybody. So then you would adjust the first number. So I'd like for you to try that right now. Find a number you can inhale and exhale 2 times that inhale number. Let that count go. Don't control the shape of the breath. Let it be what it is in this moment. The breathwork techniques we just went through could also be meditation. It's really about focusing your attention on something in the moment and giving space between your thoughts. Think of your thoughts like clouds in the sky, and you are looking for the blue sky space in between those thoughts. Not clearing the sky completely necessarily, but the more you practice, the more you can increase that space. A couple more tips. Other forms of meditation, even though these are not technically meditation, the meditation that we're classically taught in yoga is the breath in and breath out and focusing on that. But for me, what's practical? What fits into my life? I love to listen to music. So sometimes the meditation for me will be sitting and listening to a piece of familiar music and picking one instrument. You try it. I would love to hear how successful it is for you. I find it very challenging to stay with one instrument through the whole song and not get carried away with focusing on the vocals or the guitar or the drums and losing sight. That's another form. Taking a walk and really paying attention, not taking your phone with you and checking email, but actually paying attention to the details on the walk. Taking a drive, paying attention to the details. Cooking a meal and actually paying attention and going slowly and not rushing to get there. Sitting down for a meal and actually tasting, hearing, smelling, experiencing, being in the moment. Let's all take a great big breath in. Lift your legs, lift your arms again. And we're going to take an exhale and float our arms and legs down. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. Touch your thumbs to your sternum, center of your chest. Bow your head, brushing your fingertips with your lips. Thanking yourself, acknowledging yourself for the gift of true self-care, time for yourself, quiet, peace, self-regulation, and practice that you've given yourself. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Wow. I am the most relaxed I've been in a really long time. So thank you. Your voice is so soothing. And I loved the practicality of it all, that it's so accessible for no matter where somebody is in their journey and within this practice. So thank you. I was in Maui for a little bit while you were talking. So it's good to be back and let's get started. We have so many questions that have come through. For the folks watching, if you have additional questions, please continue sending them through in the chat, or you could email them to us at info@ralphfoundation.org. Let's jump in. What would you say to those who say, I'm too old for this. I'm not flexible enough for this. This is too hooey gooey for me.
So listen, I didn't leave medicine for no reason. I left medicine over a decade ago because that was not where I felt I was most effective. I wanted to be with people and promote health, not sickness or avoiding sickness, but to promote health and well-being. I do not believe healthy is the absence of disease. I believe you can have cancer, you can have anxiety or whatever, to pick it, fill in the blank, and still be a healthy person overall. There's more to it than that. So for someone who thinks yoga is for a certain select group of people, it's been my mission, one of my missions, to debunk that myth. And happily, in a lot of my classes that I've taught over the last decade, I've come across people with myriad physical issues who say, well, I couldn't get down on the floor, and I can't go to a yoga studio, and I can't bend like a pretzel. Well, you don't have to. Today in my yoga class, we did a very simple seated twist. That's the most pretzely I will ever ask anyone to be, but it's a nice tall neutral spine in a chair with your hands holding onto your thigh in the chair. That's a little twist. That's yoga. It doesn't have to be a deep twist on the floor.
That's a great recommendation there. What about, so we had somebody that said, if I'm constantly being adjusted by the instructor, does that mean that I'm bad or doing it wrong? It makes me feel like I'm doing it wrong when everyone else isn't being adjusted.
That's a really great question. Well, I would say the yoga teacher, the instructor is trying to be helpful and maybe seeing areas in your body that might need a little bit of adjustment. But I would also say to you, I love to promote agency. It's your practice, your choice, your body. So if you ever feel uncomfortable with the adjustments, maybe talk to the teacher separately and say, that didn't necessarily make me feel comfortable, or ask the teacher, why was I being adjusted? Have a frank conversation. Don't be afraid. That's the other thing in yoga. One of the chakras is the throat chakra, and it's learning to express yourself. It's a very important part of yoga.
How about, would you say a special yoga for people that are overweight, or is it more accessibility in what you're changing up, what the directions are to what the capabilities are?
I love this question as well. Yes, it is absolutely about what works for your body. I have watched very thin people who are completely inflexible, who cannot touch their toes. And I have watched people who have more abundance, who are 1,000 times more flexible than I am. Okay, I'm somewhere in between in terms of my body size too at this point. So it's really about what feels right in your body. This is one of my favorite sayings from one of a yoga teacher I just love, who taught me a few years ago. Throw out no pain, no gain. That's nonsense. Why on earth would you want to hurt yourself? What is the advantage of pain? And that's another reason why we're here, right? You don't take rest because you're absolutely exhausted. You took yourself to the finishing line with overboard. Rather think no strain, no gain. And that takes listening to your body. Again, what was I experiencing? Did that feel right? Was it too easy? Then I do need to make an adjustment and challenge myself. Was it too hard? Then I know not to go that far at that point. So for an abundant body, chair yoga. I've seen people on the floor too. I taught yoga in the water many years ago, and a lot of people came to that for that particular reason. So the yoga practice should fit you and not the other way around.
I love that. And I love the no strain, no gain. Let's go back to the be curious, not judgmental.
Mm,
So of course, that always brings me back to Ted Lasso and and the coach within there. But I think, the notion of, am I doing this right? Overthinking it or worrying, it's for people like myself who are prone to anxiety and, overthinking that to have that even as a mantra to continue, just let it go and just be here.
that's part of the journey. Absolutely. I love that you made that observation. The other day, I was feeling very, very impatient when I was out with my daughter. And it was a moment for me where I said it to her. I go, oh, wow. Look at that impatience. Isn't that interesting? So to just observing it, like you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions. They give you information, but they don't determine who you are.
Love that. So time of day when people should best do this. From the 365, it sounds like any 3 times a day, whatever works for people.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm also not someone who subscribes to it has to be at a fixed time of day. It's what's going to fit your lifestyle. Sometimes a morning practice, you need it. Sometimes it's the middle of the afternoon. Sometimes it's for insomnia. Like maybe you want to do something like we did this evening, take a piece of it before bed.
Love that. What do you suggest for first-time yogis who want to start off stepping on the mat with the right foot?
I would say trust yourself, find a teacher you like. If that means you try a class, it's not for you. It's funny because the moderators and I were talking about this earlier. We were joking about hot yoga and it just wasn't a great fit. So that means it's not for you. You don't go back. So you find another teacher, another studio where you feel seen, heard, and supported, and that you have the space to be in charge of your practice and make adjustments.
That's great. Are there tools that people need, blocks or belts, or what do you recommend there?
I love props. Love props. I teach with props in all of my classes. Props are chairs, props are walls, props are yoga straps. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use something that, not those resistance straps that pull, that have like you get at physical therapy. It should have no give really, because it's supposed to support. You can use robe belts, a cotton robe belt. You can use a long towel. You can use anyone with kids that have gone through martial arts, or a friend who has a kid who went through martial arts. Those belts are really good too. Yoga blocks or pillows. I believe in a supported practice, again, molding the yoga practice to fit your body and not forcing yourself into a yoga practice.
So for somebody who is, I guess this is more meditation, but who is not comfortable necessarily sitting up straight, or, is comfortable sitting on a couch with their legs out, different positions. Is there benefit of being in the set position?
So classically trained is actually sitting on the floor with your legs crossed to sit in meditation. But that's not accessible. That's for a very specific body type. So what again, I just feel very passionately about this. So just, if you can't sit on the floor like that, that means you can't do meditation? Absolutely not. If it means sitting in a chair, a comfortable chair that works for you, fine. If that's uncomfortable, by all means, use your couch to meditate. As a matter of fact, I have meditated in my bathtub because that's where it felt like my body is quiet right now, and it's quiet around me, and I'm going to focus on my breath here. And it's still hard.
Yeah, those thoughts, they just creep in. How about meditation apps? Do you have favorites that you would recommend?
So again, you've got to do what it works for you. I tried Calm, and I did Calm for almost a year at the beginning of the pandemic. I also did, what's the other one? The real Headspace. I'd use Headspace for a little while as well. But ultimately, even though I had these streaks, for me, because I am an overachiever and type A, it became more about the streak. So I had to go, oh, maybe that's not what I should be focusing on, because that's a tendency for myself. So I'm going to let that go and meditate in a different way where I'm not focused on the numbers. But that's just me. Some people swear by the app. So you got to find what works for you.
Absolutely. The next question says, it's hard for me to move after treatment. What's your advice to help convince myself that it's important?
One of my dear beloved yoga students said to me once, motion is lotion. The other thing too, I was watching a video before this about your emotions, your mind, and your body. They're connected. They really are connected. If your body tells your brain we're doing this thing, we're moving, then the brain will get the signal like, oh, we're calming down, we're relaxing, we're soothing ourselves. If your brain is telling your body we can't, then your body is going to get that message as well. So it's really about making that connection and alleviating and releasing tension, and it's good for your mental health to move. And also ask yourself what qualifies as, again, no strain, no gain in this moment. Is taking a walk up and down the corridors of your house challenging enough and just enough for you that day? It doesn't have to be a marathon. It doesn't have to be a 30-minute HIIT workout. It can be a very simple thing. I've also taught students to do, I have a student who's recovering from a medical condition right now, and she can't move a lot. So I've given her some exercises to do in bed. Just some little movement for your joints in bed.
Changing perspective on what the movement needs to be versus
exactly
able to do.
Yeah, because too much the society is, if you're not all out or all in, and then you're just not doing the thing. And that's just simply not true. Context, context, context. What's appropriate in this moment?
For sure. For sure. Let's talk about breathing. What's the benefit of only breathing through your nose?
Because scientifically, that's your respiratory tract, in and out through your nostrils. There are mechanisms built in your respiratory tract for breathing. So there's nitrogen oxide that's released within the nasal, in the nostrils, that open up the blood vessels. There's filtering that goes in your nostrils. You humidify that air that's coming in, so your cold air is not reaching your lungs. It's a direct traffic into the respiratory system. That's why we breathe in and out through the nose. But obviously, if you have a cold, it's hard to do that.
Sure. And what about belly breathing? So many of us, especially women, are taught, hold that stomach in, So I loved the idea of the cup and filling the cup. What other tips or ideas do you have for erasing the muscle memory of suck it in?
So number one, practice. Number two, who's it for? Who are you holding in your stomach for? So it's the curiosity. It's turning inward and going, why am I doing this? Okay, so even though I was taught that, is it serving me? Why am I doing that? Because it's not healthy for you. It's simply not. When we expand the abdomen, we allow the diaphragm to descend a little bit and or flatten out, so that the bottom, so you have the apex and you have the base of your lungs, so we can get oxygenated all the way to the base. When you're holding in your stomach, that's causing anxiety, and you're doing chest breathing. Okay, so that's just, again, it's signaling to your mind you're taking more respirations per minute than you need to, and it's shallow. It's anxiety provoking and producing all day. So releasing yourself from that myth, and then practicing. Other ways to practice: lying on your bed and putting a pillow or yoga block on your abdomen and letting that float up on the inhale and float down, and just kind of getting used to that softening.
We try to do that with our boys with stuffed animals. All right, everybody, let's calm down. Let's meditate. How about square breathing, where you're breathing for 4, holding for 4, 4, hold 4? Is there benefit of that?
What's one of my favorite breathing techniques. It's easy to remember. You can do it anytime, anywhere as well. The only thing I would say, watch out for breath retention if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure. It's not good to hold your breath in.
Okay. Let's go back to overthinking, wandering minds, type A personalities. I love the idea of, like you said to your daughter, oh, isn't it interesting? I'm feeling this. What other questions, what other thoughts can you, prompts can you give to our community to help with those, bring them back into where we need to be?
It's watching, not letting yourself get involved in a story, going down a rabbit hole, spiraling. Meditation and watching those thoughts is an opportunity to notice your patterns. What are your particular thought patterns? We all have them. So are you going down this worried rabbit hole of, I'll give an example, say for me, lots of to-do lists, as I'm sure a lot of women can relate to. So you automatically, instead of, the time is for me right now, but I'm thinking about somebody else and what I need to do for them. And I'm thinking about, oh, I got to go do the laundry and I got to do this and I got to do that. There's information in that observation. It's like, oh, first of all, why do I always have to be doing something? Why do I always have to be accomplishing and checking things off during my day? Where am I in that? Where's the me time? So it's an opportunity to not just pay attention to the thoughts, but look deeper. And what are the thoughts telling you? What are your patterns actually telling you? Maybe I don't think I deserve to have some time. Do I feel guilty because I'm sitting here quietly and I'm not doing anything or serving anybody? So it's an opportunity for you to go, well, why don't I deserve that time? Why don't I deserve the compassion that I'm showing everyone else? So being ever more curious.
Yeah, I definitely think that's amazing. And the idea of, these days, people celebrate being busy. If you're not, when somebody asks you a question, oh, I'm swamped at work, or, this is going on. And there's this fear of, well, if I say, yeah, things are good, that people think, well, what's wrong with them? So I love the idea of saying what's in it for me is really what it comes down to. And why don't I deserve that? I love that thought. So I could talk with you for hours and hours and hours. I want to be cognizant of our community and time. So I'll ask one last question of, what are 3 key takeaways that you would love for our community to walk away with tonight?
Yoga is a lifestyle. It's chock full of tools. Some fit, some don't. Take what you will and use, and that will change with time as well. So be curious, make adjustments, modify. And you're important. You matter. You matter.
Ended on that. Dr. Nadine, amazing. This was so helpful on so many levels. Where can our community find you?
Please connect with me on my website that has all my socials there as well. So my website, I believe the link was in the chat. It's my 3 initials, NPK Health Integration.com.
Great. And we did put in the chat your website, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the above. How about classes? Do you offer classes virtually, in person? How people will be able to find that on your site as well?
Absolutely. I'm doing virtual only because with the pandemic, I started doing virtual only, and I believe it's a great way to offer classes. I offer 3 yoga classes right now during the week. And I also offer private coaching and/or yoga classes, because you can do it from the comfort of your own home. And there's so much benefit to that as well.
Definitely. Well, thank you for everything that you shared tonight. Thank you for the incredible work that you're doing out there in this world. Thank you for leaving the medical world to get into this side of things, but also bring in your information. And we look forward to having you back here again sometime soon.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone for joining us tonight and sharing your questions. If you are catching this on the replay, go ahead and put replay in the comment section and put your questions in there, and we'll be sure to get those questions to NPK and get back to you. And then you could mark your calendars for our next Wellness Wednesday, which is going to take place on November 30th. And I'll be talking with Dr. Matthew Dixon, a surgeon from Rush University Medical Center, about the disparity rates and the latest in pancreatic surgical practices. And always, if you have ideas for future Wellness Wednesdays, please send them to us either in the chat and our social channels, or you could email us at info@ralphfoundation.org. On behalf of everyone at Ralph Pancreatic Cancer Foundation, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I hope to see you in a couple weeks at Friday Night Lights of Hope. Remember, it's on November 11th at the Glen Club in Glenview. Discount early bird tickets are still on sale through Monday, and we hope to see you there. Until next time, thanks so much. Take good care and stay safe. Bye-bye.